Okay, so the best teams close it out on the defensive side and the offensive side, and that's how joint practice ended. Meanwhile, the Eagles are the top landing spot for Hassan Reddick. So much to break down in terms of the last day of joint practice. Three passing touchdowns, a rushing touchdown, and the defense creating three total turnovers. But that's not all. There's more. However, we got to end the intro and get into the video. What is going on, everybody? I go by Philly Mike, and it's the Philly Talk Podcast. If you rock with the Eagles, do me a couple favors: like, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and swipe over on the comment section and hype this up in sports. So, yesterday was the last day of Eagles Patriots joint practice before the preseason game on Saturday. Just to let you know, I will be live for that, so come through. With that being said, we learned a lot about our Philadelphia Eagles over the last 2 days, but more importantly, yesterday taught us a lot. The first thing I'm going to talk about is how they ended practice, because I always like a team who understands it's not how you start, it's how you finish. There was a period of time where the offense low key got stuck, or honestly, maybe it was another fight that just delayed a lot of information coming out, because there was a period of time where we didn't hear nothing good or bad. However, the final period of 11 on 11 before the end of joint practice started with the Patriots possessing the ball. A couple plays into it, Drake Maye threw a pick. John Clark tweeted, Jalyx Hunt just came up with a big interception with the Patriots driving. Riq Woolen knocked it loose after A.J. Brown caught it. It popped in the air. Another takeaway for the Eagles defense. It's important to note because the Eagles had three on the day, and all three involved Jalyx Hunt and Riq Woolen. So Jalen Hurts and the Eagles took over, and 4 plays later, they found themselves in the end zone. But I love the drive because it went one past the Goddard, one past the Wicks, one past the Hollywood, but it was out of bounds. And then the last pass to Hollywood that was secured in the end zone. Zebra puts his hands up, and the Eagles' offense and defense, after a long 2 days of fighting, tough joint practices, finish right where we wanted them to finish. The end. I'm just kidding. A lot to talk about in terms of camp, including this, but we did just get a report of a former Eagle possibly on our radar. Eagle Times tweeted today, Hassan Reddick to the Eagles at 1 year, 4.9 million. Steal or wash? This was proposed via Bleacher Report, since Grenard's pec injury is a little more serious. Let me know in the comment section if you want Hassan Reddick back. On that note, we saw yesterday that the Eagles pass rush without Jonathan Grenard and even Jalen Carter, who missed via a personal day, was still all over the Patriots. Still, the way Vic Fangio and the Eagles want to run this D-line, rotating, keeping fresh bodies, there's a reason with Jalyx Hunt, Nolan Smith, and Arnold Ebiketie on the roster, we went out and got Jonathan Grenard for the big contract and still even signed AJ Epinesa on a vet minimum. Fangio knows injuries happen. Fangio knows fresh bodies are good bodies in the second half of football. So it's good to have as many pass rushers as possible. And although the pec injury for Jonathan Grenard is taking longer than we want, he still will be back for the season. Who knows what happens during the season? But I'll leave it up to Howie Roseman and Vic Fangio to let me know if it's worth going out and bringing back Reddick. I will say it would be funny, though, if the Eagles end up bringing in Hassan Reddick the same season they trade A.J. Brown away. I'll just leave it at that. Now, before we talk about what Drake Maye said about Jalen Hurts, plus go over the two other turnovers that we got film on now, and talk about the other two passing touchdowns Jalen Hurts had, plus a rushing touchdown, and this run game the Eagles showed on day one, tried to be hidden, but man, do we got the film to show just how good it was. Plus more. Let's hear a word from our sponsor. Have you noticed any changes in your energy, mood, or body since getting older? I have in all three categories, but it doesn't have to be that way. We watch NFL players, more importantly, Eagle players, take care of themselves on a multitude of levels, and we should be doing it too as men over 30 years old. Introducing Hone Health, the top telehealth clinic for men rated by #1 Forbes Health. The process is easy. Go down to your local lab to get your blood drawn, which covers over 50 plus biomarkers: testosterone, prostate health, cholesterol, blood sugar, plus kidney and liver functions. Then talk to a doctor online to go over your results. From there, a doctor will personalize a treatment plan that may include TRT, peptides, supplements, and more, all subject to physician's approval. I honestly can't believe how easy and affordable it is to get tested and treated with Hone Health. Click the link in the description or scan the QR code beside me. Get tested for 65 bucks. The NFL and the Eagles have their way to stay on top of their game, and now we have ours with Hone Health. Back to the Eagles. Drake Maye had some big things to say about Jalen Hurts at his presser, but first, he made sure to go find him after practice to chop it up. Patriots beat reporter Carlos Lopez tweeted what Drake Maye said about Jalen Hurts. He said, and I quote, "I'm a big fan of his game, rooting for him. I told him back when I was committing to Alabama back in the day, he was one of the quarterbacks that I was watching play there. He's a Super Bowl champ. That speaks for itself. One of my best friends, Sam Howell, was in the quarterback room with him last year. So I got to know some stories about Jalen and how he works. I respect him a lot for that. I'm pulling for him." No matter how you feel about Drake Maye, good, great, okay, growing, I love the fact that he keeps it real and game recognizes game. A lot of people say good things about somebody during a presser, but it shows he meant it because he went out of his way to go chop it up with Jalen Hurts after practice. This confirms itself that he's not just talking out of his you know what to be nice to the opposing quarterback. Flipping back to joint practice, if you click on social media, everybody talked about the two interceptions Jalen Hurts had day two. But not many people are talking about the two interceptions that Drake Maye had. So let's get to the first one he threw. John Clark tweeted, Riq Woolen just intercepted Drake Maye in the end zone on an attempt to AJ Brown. Nice job stepping right in front of AJ. Riq ran it back to the end zone and did some snow angels on the grass. Again, that was a real nice interception, undercutting AJ Brown. Shout out to Riq Woolen, who low-key struggled day one. Not really struggled, but they tried to pick on him. They tried to do it again, and he punished them with a pick six. And like I said, popping the ball out, allowing Jalyx Hunt to get an interception. Riq Woolen was letting people know that I ain't no corner to pick on. Number two, Riq Woolen showed yesterday why he was one of the best offseason signings. No fly zone. As for the other turnover from the Patriots to make it 3 on the day, it was a fumble. Brandon Lee Gouton tweeted, Jalyx Hunt just ripped the ball out of Ramondre Stevenson's hand for an instant fumble recovery. Sheesh, making a grown man fumble was tough enough, but to make him fumble and recover it, you doing both jobs is crazy. And although Riq Woolen made the play to pop the ball out of AJ Brown's hands, the fact that Jalyx Hunt, a defensive end, has the ball skills, the awareness to see the ball in the air and make a diving interception is beautiful. He is on the verge of breaking out to be a guy who can get you multiple interceptions in a season. And I think double-digit sacks are around the corner, as both days he gave Will Campbell the business. And he had multiple sacks day one and a sack day two. You know what? I got to ask y'all in the chat. Let me know in the comment section how many sacks you think Jalyx Hunt will have in 2026. I can't wait to read them. Now, before we flip it back to the offense, yes, A.J. Brown had a decent day. He had a touchdown on Quinyon in a slant in 11 on 11s. And during the 1-on-1 and 2-on-2 session, he was given the business a little bit, but I don't judge any real DB in one-on-one and two-on-two when you have the whole field to utilize. That's not real football. If we're not going to talk about 7-on-7s, we definitely can't talk about 2-on-2s. With that being said, shout out to iron still sharpening iron. Speaking of AJ Brown, he went out of his way to run up to Jalen Hurts and dap him up, chop it up, talk to him after practice. Now, some people say he knew the cameras were on and wanted to show that he was being the bigger guy, but I don't know. Let me know your thoughts on this situation. I am least glad it happened. It's closes a little. I still don't like the way this all fell out, but at the end of the day, we are officially moving on. We don't got to talk about AJ Brown and the Patriots unless we play them in the Super Bowl because we don't see them during the regular season. But let me know your thoughts on that as well before we talk about Jalen Hurts rushing touchdown and 3 passing touchdowns. Because again, this all happened without his first round wide receiver and number one receiver Devontae Smith, which, if you ask me, is a good sign because I was worried about the depth behind them. But this Patriots defense is pretty darn good, and I understand Gonzo wasn't there. However, Jalen Hurts to have 3 passing touchdowns, including Hollywood Brown, Dontavian Wicks, and Dallas Goedert, that just shows that the play calling and chemistry is being built, and that's not even including a run game that really tore it up day one. So let's start there. Jalen Hurts under center, Saquon in the backfield. They're going to hand it off, and he's going to pick up at least 12 to 15 yards on this run alone. Again, if this was a real game, these runs would mean more because it would be tiring the defense out. Also, keeping our defense on the sideline. Here you got Shipley. Jalen Hurts changed up the play. He's going to hand it off to Shipley, makes a one-cut move, and picks up another 15, 18, 19 yards. Again, each run is coming back, so we don't know when it happened or how it happened. This one, Saquon takes the outside zone stretch play all the way for a touchdown. Again, the ref don't put her hands up. I wonder what happened, but Eagles were signaling touchdown. And today, no rushing touchdowns really for the running backs, but Jalen Hurts got one. Don't got the video, but the person who was there confirmed that Jalen Hurts had multiple runs throughout the practice, but definitely a touchdown as well. Now let's get to the passing touchdowns. Here we got Jalen Hurts in an empty back set. He's going to motion the tight end Dallas Goedert, who is the recipient. He's changing the play up as well. Hurts going to take the snap, drop back, and fires. Touchdown. Goedert with the dunk. Goddard might be getting older, but he can still get up there. Next play, they snap it quick. Hurts looking and finds Wicks on a crosser in the middle as well. First Goddard, now Wicks. I wonder who's next. And then the play of the day. Like I said, after the big turnover from the defense, Hurts and the offense trying to capitalize and close out this practice. After a couple completions, Hurts dropping back, clean pocket, finds Hollywood in the back of the end zone for a touchdown. And for those saying, we couldn't really see on this video, are you sure it's a touchdown and the refs ain't cheating? Look at the catch in slow-mo. Plus, look at the celebration. It's good for Hollywood to close out a meaningful joint practice like this due to the fact that he's caused a lot of Jalen Hurts interceptions. You gotta be excited that Hurts had 3 passing touchdowns to 3 different pass catchers, all while no Makai Lemon, but more importantly, Devontae Smith, who I'm not trying to poo-poo on AJ. But remember, before the complaining, before the crying, the first couple weeks of the season, our go-to guy was Smitty. And it's not talked about a lot because Dallas Goedert is like all reliable, but I do believe his role is going to increase a lot in this Sean Mannion system. And although Smitty is the number one for sure, the ball will be spread around. And these are important reps for everyone. That's why I understand everybody who wants to get reps for Makai Lemon. But with what happened to Jordan Tyson, came back early, now we'll miss 2 months. I'm okay with Lemon taking it easy, but he's close. Look at this route. He got shoulder pads on. He's running nice routes on air. I'm ready to see what he does in the Yak game and for this Eagles offense. With all that being said, that's really all I got for you today. Now, I showed this clip, but I didn't talk about it. Zach Bond had a nice PBU versus Drake Maye that nobody really talked about. Because again, sometimes the reporting doesn't do us justice. I wish I was there. On that note, I go by Philly Mike. I will be live tomorrow at 7 o'clock, or Saturday, I should say, at 7 o'clock. In case you're watching this on Saturday, that means you're not really part of notification gang. Do me a favor, like, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, click the link in the description. Hone Health is the way to go if you're over 30. Seriously, guys, we got to protect ourselves. With that being said, again, I love hearing from you in the comment section. Philly strong. And I will catch you tomorrow for the live stream. It's preseason, but I still want to see the ball move in this new system. We out.